Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today is a great day. I'm here at a self-storage property that I'm gonna be buying in 2 months. So as you guys know, I'm about to be on week 3 at this flip that I'm doing, or I think I am on the week 3 right now. And I was able to get under contract for this building 2 weeks ago. So if you've been following my YouTube channel, you know that I've been wanting to buy a apartment building this year. That's my main goal. Obviously, I went under contract for 2 different buildings. Both of them I didn't get, but I did find this building, which, you know, it's not an apartment building, but it's pretty dang close. I'd say self-storage isn't that bad at all. It's a pretty good cash flowing asset. So where are we? Right now we're in Rosanky, Texas. This is a small town. I think it's like only 1,200 people, and it's around, I think, 10 minutes from Bastrop, 50 minutes from Austin. So, you know, this is a tiny city. It is in a surrounding city of a larger city. Bastrop's one of the fastest growing counties in Texas, so I'm very excited about this deal. So let's go and do a quick walkthrough. This is a 24 unit self-storage facility along a farm to market road. This road has very high frontage, and it's actually 2 acres. This is zoned commercial, which means I can kind of do whatever I want, and it's also in a ETJ jurisdiction. Basically means that I can do anything. I can build whatever I want over here. So 24 units. We have a total, I think it was 4,800 square feet of self-storage space. Right now, only 60% of it is occupied or being rented out. And it's only making around like 1,300 bucks, which isn't that much money. It would not cash flow as is, but because of the fact that it's so vacant, and when I say vacant, it's not actually vacant. It's more so that the owner, or the seller in this case, is using up all that space for his own stuff. So I actually have a unit open of that's his stuff right here. And these are all traditional 7-foot by 6 roll-up doors. Let's go ahead and open it. It's not even opening up all the way. But as you can see, let's actually go inside. It's quite a large unit. It's very, very spidery in here. But this is the front to back of one whole unit. So that's the back door. Otherwise, I would put a piece of sheet metal in between. So it could be 2 10 by 15. I'm sorry. Yeah, a 10 by 10 and a 10 by 15. Or a 10 by 20, whatever size I'd want to do, I would just put a thing in the middle, or I could rent out the whole space as a 10 by 30, I believe. So yeah, let's go back out. Obviously, this place was built in, I believe, 2004 or 3. So it's almost as old as me. And it's been passed by a few owners. So, you know, I'm gonna be what, the 4th, I think, owner. This last guy actually bought it for a little bit less than me, but he told me nothing to the property. So I'm picking it up as kind of a person that's gonna definitely build more and get it up to par. Because with the gross rent that it should be making around, I'd say 2,400 to 2,600 bucks. So we're really missing out on $1,000 of cash flow. On top of this, I was able to negotiate a 10% down seller finance deal, so 90% seller finance. And the taxes in this place is nothing because it's not in the city. And the insurance is very low. So I've already done the calculation. My mortgage should be around $1,400-1,500 bucks. And keep in mind, I just said that this thing should be bringing in $2,400 to $2,600. That should be around a $900 to $1,050 net once it's fully leased up. Now, like I said earlier, this is actually 2 acres. So along the end, we have this whole area that is actually ours. So if you really think about it in the map, I think I'll pull up a map. It's really a very thin, long lot. Next to the highway or farm to market road. And that's very good because that means there's very high visibility. One thing to note too is that this is also on a railroad easement, or there's a railroad easement on the property. This is a large railroad, which means I cannot build. I believe it's like it's literally on top of this road. So the way it kind of works from what I've read and researched since is that the city has to be able to, or the railroad company, whatever, has to be able to have access to the property to repair whatever part of the road they need, which means I can't really even fence off this self-storage facility. Fencing it off would probably allow for slightly higher rents, but fencing is kind of expensive. So I've already gone through a lot of ideas as to what I can do with the property because there's so much space. Other things to note too that are really, really cool is that there's already electricity and water in the property, but there's no septic. So you technically could throw a mobile home in here if I put a septic, which is actually not that expensive. The electric meter service also has 200 amps, which is quite large. And it's overall just pretty nice that there's kind of a lot of options that you can do. Now, here is the best part to me. For me, the first thing I'm gonna do when I buy this place in 2 months is gonna be to immediately lease up and kick out all the lower market rents and get it up to par to where I'm netting 900 bucks a month. I also need to create a sign because there's no sign outside and there's no marketing and there's no Google page, there's no phone number. This guy's just been taking calls when he can and doing whatever he wants to and just not really caring because he is older, he's like in his 70s. But here is the best part. This is all mine. All this land will be mine. Those metal stakes, as you can kind of see down there, was created by the utility company. The owner has chosen never to move them because that is where they said is the easement road. So there's a huge tree here, which is whatever, I'll deal with it. And there's also a electric meter here, and the water meter is right there with a fire hydrant. Here is a list of things that I've been told the owner has been inquired by, but has not given the time to entertain because he doesn't live nearby, and he just doesn't really care. He's had a flea market want to set up here once every week and a half. He's had a food truck here before. He's had RV like people want to set up shop here and live here. He's had somebody want to build fences and put cows and horses. You know, that's like what, 4 things? There's probably a few more things that he's told me that I can't really think of right now, but that just tells me that there is very high demand for this land because of its frontage road right here. I haven't counted yet. I plan on sitting here for like an hour sometime and just counting how many cars come by to see what is the actual travel pass. Like there's a car coming right now. Oh, that's the other side, my bad. But yeah, no, I mean, so here's my idea. Initially, I was like, the easiest thing to do would be just to create covered parking. But then I thought about how creating a fence would not be ideal given the easement that we have of the railroad. So my first plan, like I said, is to be leasing up this part behind me. This is also actually a garage that has electricity in it. It's getting rented out for $250 a month. Very cool. This could be converted to an office, which is what I'm planning to do long-term. Not immediate. So phase 2, after I get this place leased up, I'm gonna go over here. And I've thought a lot about this. Here's my plan. I'm gonna be, first of all, leasing up and putting a food truck right here because why not? That's probably an easy 300, 400 bucks of just passive as hell cash flow. Back here, I plan on putting containers. So I'll throw up some photos right now of what a container is. Container self-storage. I've already gotten bids as to what would be the cost to build more units, but a container I think would be the best thing because it is a significantly lower upfront cost. And it also retains its value in that I can move them and sell them off whenever I want. And the rental increase that I can get from them versus building storage is gonna be it's gonna be almost rented for the same amount of money, and it's a third of the cost. That essentially nearly triples my return on investment. Getting normal self-storage would be around, like building concrete slab with the metal structure will cost around, I think it was $90,000 to $95,000 from my quotes that I got, and I would probably make around 31 gross income. Obviously, there's very low operating expenses in a self-storage facility. So roughly, let's say a 28-30% return. Whereas with container self-storage, my ROI is more like 80% because the cost of a container is so low. I'm planning to even have this be higher, preferably making a near 100% return by buying containers in bulk, having them dropped off in bulk, and then of course, buying used containers and trying to find people that just want to get rid of their container. If I can do those 3 things, I'm sure I can make this nearly 100% return and possibly increase my cash flow by, $2,000 plus a month, 2 to 3 grand, hopefully. That way I can have, $3,000 be printed out net income after my seller finance, mortgage payment, and insurance and tax. And this is only phase 2. Keep in mind, this is only doubling the amount of units, which will be having 48 units. Of course, I would want to have a phase 3. This would be more down the line, where I build more self-storage, this time the traditional route, with a concrete structure and metal building. I mean, I am open to doing more self-storage units. My only concern is that if I ever were to sell this property, which will not be soon, it'll be in 10 years plus, it would be very hard for me to have, there's no other container self-storage facility. And really, I'm just being super scrappy and ambitious in trying to make this happen, which I know it's gonna work. It's more just the resale value will be hindered because it is not a concrete foundation structure. So it's more upon a hedge on that. And assuming that I have 2 structures, I can much easily afford financing if possible on a 3rd phase. So that's my plan. This is also, I didn't really say, I think, it's a 5% interest amortized 30-year term with 5-year balloon. So very, very good terms. My payment, I think I said, is gonna be around $1,400 bucks. And I think it was like 360 goes to principal in the first month. So, and I'm also buying this for $268,000. It was listed for $299. I got him down to $275, and I told him I need commission because I'm a seller's agent or buyer's agent representing myself. And of course, because my down payment's 10%, I opted and offered to take it out the back end instead of the front end. So my total purchase price is lower rather than getting a check at closing. So that's pretty much the whole deal. There's a few things I still got to figure out, which is who's gonna be cutting the grass, who's gonna do the maintenance, also who's gonna be leasing up the units. As I said, this is 45 minutes from my house. I would not want to be coming down here every other day to show somebody one unit and then leave. I need to find a local, preferably a retiree or like maybe a teenager that can just come and show a unit for 20 bucks or something. I don't know. Also too, as I said, I do need to build out the Google page and the accounting software and just the overall software. There's no records. This guy had no paperwork, no accounting records, nothing. He only had Zelle receipts to show me as to what the income is. And of course, word of mouth. So there's a lot of work I need to do with this, but the way I see it is that there is a potential 6-figure upside that I could get within a year. And that upside could also be possibly refinanced and given as liquidity. And if I don't do that, and I continue to hold the note as is for the entire term, which is probably what I'm gonna do because 5% is killer, I will be printing $3,000 from a $40,000, $50,000 investment after, of course, buying the property. So to me, you know, for 80 grand, I make 30 grand net. That sounds like a pretty good deal. And you know, this is a key turning point where I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue flipping after doing this deal or while doing this deal. We'll see how my money and cash flow and cash balances look like. But this is gonna definitely take up a lot of time. So I'm gonna be having a lot of videos about this place, whether it's about setting up the Google page, struggles that I'm going through, you know, people doing stupid things, the difficulties of owning self-storage. We'll see. So I'm very excited. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This has been a pleasure. And although I'm gonna close in 2 months, I honestly wish I didn't even start that other flip and I just could buy it right now because there's so much I need to do and I'm so excited. I feel like it's also part of the reason why the seller chose to go with my offer because I am $30,000 under asking. So I'll see you in the next one. Hope you guys have a nice day and like, comment, rate, subscribe, reach out to me, talk to me, call me, text me. Let's talk, let's connect, and I'll see you in the next one.